$1.7 million US within one product life cycle. The license fee for each individual rig is set up in a way that the customer can keep 60% of the cost saved and pays 40 to us as license fee. We use this combined revenue model in two different ways. The upfront payment is almost equal to our cost of goods sold. So this allows us to have liquidity during the growth of our company. And we use the pay-as-you-go license fee to keep the entry barriers for our customers as low as possible. This combined revenue model leads to an early break even for our customers after just 12 days of operations with our product. And as you can also see on this slide, the revenue we generate is much bigger than our cost. This is due to our IP protected technology, which allows us to set the price independently of our cost. So as you see, we do not just have a capable technology, but also an excellent profit margin of 45%. And our CFO will take over and provide you with some more excellent financial data.
Thank you, Arne. On this slide, you can see that DrilLight is looking for an angel investor who is prepared to invest in a company which is facing some risk, but offers a very high return. From this investor, we ask for an investment of $850,000 US, and in return for this investment, DrilLight is prepared to deploy 35% of equity to the investor. The remaining equity will be held by the founders and 10% by the IP right owner. After 3 years in the market, DrilLight will pursue the exit strategy for the investor. Therefore, we have calculated the company value after 3 years based on the EBITDA of 2017, resulting in a company value of $55 million US. The net present value of this investment is $12 million US, and the internal rate of return is 154%. We address investors to join our vision and invest in a safer and more profitable oil industry. But let us continue and,
This is very attractive, but have you tested, commercialized, or have it prototype in the offshore, a real offshore situation? Because you've said it before that this is done in the lab, but in a real offshore, you're testing it with the weather, the rugged environment, and all the corrosion that could happen to your hardware. Have you tested those to assure us as potential investor?
We have a small scale prototype at our lab with a 10-meter drill string. There we modeled and simulated all kinds of external environmental influences like corrosion, waves, all kinds of weather, but we have not tested it on a real offshore oil rig. But ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. If we would have tested our product on a real offshore oil rig, we wouldn't been here seeking for venture capital, because our product is so superior to existing solutions that we just need to do this next step, and that's what we are seeking venture capital for.
Then it leads to another question. I believe this kind of thing, you depend a lot on the service and maintenance, the warranty. Have you, I believe you have put down, you have the third-party service team. You are talking about 24 hours, 7 days service. How does it work? And whether or not the cost that you have put down is enough. Because for this kind of business, every minute that the machine stops, it will destroy the business.
Yeah, that's a good point. We will provide 24/7 service and ready to fly by as soon as something happens. But on the other hand, we have to mention that if our product does not work, it does not lead to an overall fail of the rig. So our product could be switched off and the rig could operate without the mitigation of vibration. Did it answer your question properly?
Maybe I
But
can
when
add
you
one
sell-
thing.
But when you sell this type of product, shouldn't you be giving them a service level agreement, or SLA, some sort of 99% up or whatever? Wouldn't that be the case? And one more question is that I see you have a satellite communication cost on your costs. Must you use a satellite communication cost from the oil rig or yourself, or you can use the existing oil rig satellite communication? Why do you need that?
Well, basically our product is working on itself, so autonomously without satellite communication, but we add enhanced value to the customer by using our measured data and transfer it via the satellite communication to our headquarter, and there we analyze the data to prevent malfunctions in the future. So, for example, problems of fatigue occurring. So we measure the starter to give some kind of forecast when replacements are needed or better should done, and therefore we use the satellite communication. And so from now we are not sure whether we can use the satellite communication of the oil rigs. So we put our own system and calculate it with the cost for our own system in our business plan.
You are forecasting a failure of the other people's machine that you attach your product to.
Well, we measure the vibrations in the drill string, and the drill strings are kind of standardized. So we can, by analyzing the forces and the moments, we can give a prediction on the fatigue of these systems which are downhole. Of course, we cannot give any predictions of the other systems we are not influencing and not measuring.
Then as the owner or operator, why should I use your forecast failure for? Is it a total failure of the drilling system, or what are you forecasting? Your own product or others people's product?
We are forecasting the fatigue of the drill string. So this is an optional value that we can create by our system to the customer. The first one, our basic idea to reduce the vibrations, can totally operate without the satellite communication. So the customer can choose whether to take this additional system to give projections about the future or not.
Surely in that case you must have stored quite a bit of the value of the different materials that you are drilling into the ground, into the sea. What's the database looks like, and how do you plan to update those databases?
Well, of course, you're right. We cannot charge the customer from the very beginning of our business. We have to run our system and collect data to provide a reliable database. But since we have it, we can do these projections, and then we can also charge the customer for it.
How long before you achieve the critical numbers of database from this type of drilling operation? How many more years, how many more hours of drilling? Because you're drilling in offshore in different areas of the world, for example.
Yes. So according to our plan, we roughly plan about collecting data for 1 year after we can launch the additional value and charge it.
Can I go back to the page that you present, the price structure of your product? And I have some question on that page. Yes, this one. So are you saying that the hardware itself will cost $40,000 and your main income will come from the license fee over time of 1.7 million? And the cost of goods sold that you talked about, 2%, it means the cost of the machine is only 2% of 40,000? Or I don't quite understand this and how you could achieve. And so the license fee, which is paid by, it depends very much on the other questions that came before, that if there is any failure in operation or whatever, those income will not come, right? So that's relative, that the major incomes come in the future, and it depends on the performance of your machine.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. The cost of goods sold is low like it is here because we just use existing technology as hardware. The core competence is the software, the migration, the vibration mitigation algorithm. But the hardware of a product